Good morning. I'm Major Jeff Cotner of the Crimes Against Persons Division. This morning we're going to talk about the capital murder of Mr. Sam Morris that occurred on June 9th. There's two pieces to this, guys, and what I want to talk about is the actual murder. I'll be able to describe some of the behaviors, but it's going to be limited. Our arrestees are juveniles. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and then at the end, I'm going to make another plea about some additional information we need, and then I'll take a few questions. Okay, you guys ready? Everybody ready? Okay. On June 9th at about 9:55, Mr. Sam Morris was walking along the 4700 block of Sunnyvale Street. He was carrying 2 grocery bags and he was on his way home. Prior to him walking in that area, a group of juveniles had gathered at the Prince Hall Apartments. Amongst them, they devised a plan to commit a robbery. They observed Mr. Morris as he walked along the sidewalk, and they pursued him. When I say pursue, they chased him, and they swarmed him. The number of juveniles, and we'll call it a group, could be as many as 8, somewhere between 6 and 8. And we're not really certain the total number of juveniles involved, but we do know that of those that group of juveniles, 3 actors amongst them struck Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris asked why they were hitting him in the course of the actions, and they continued to hit him. Those actions caused Mr. Morris to fall into the roadway. That made him vulnerable to traffic, and he was struck by a car shortly after going into the roadway. We believe that the injuries that he sustained when he went into the roadway most likely caused his death, but autopsy reports and things like that are pending. We do know that he was either stunned by the strikes that the aggressors put on him, or he was unconscious when he went into the roadway. We've made 3 arrests, and those arrests, 1 is 13 and 2 are 14, and they're responsible for those actions. We also think they may be suspects in other offenses in that area, but that information that's developing, and we just haven't been anything conclusive in that regard. Now, I mentioned that Mr. Morris was struck by a car. Earlier we put out that it was a white car. Then we've got some information that's a black car. And we've got some information that's a sports car, possibly a Mustang or something else. And to be quite frank, we don't know. It's very important for the community to help us out here, provide any information whatsoever they can about a car there on that block of Sunnyvale on Saturday night at 9:55. Also, a couple of individuals who witnessed the accident or came upon the accident stopped and rendered aid to Mr. Morris. Unfortunately, we do not know their identity, and we ask the public's assistance in identifying those folks, or if they'll come forward so we can talk to them. It would be very important for us to close out this investigation. Somebody's mic's kind of going sideways on us. That's Mel. Now, in terms of contacting the Dallas Police Department, we want you to call Detective Barnes, Eric Barnes, directly, and I'm going to give you a phone number, y'all. 214-283-4818. 214-283-4818. And that's Detective Eric Barnes of the Homicide Unit. All right, any questions?
Yes. My understanding, when you said it's a capital murder, that they did rob him of something. My understanding was that they took like some frosted flakes or some cereal.
Well, the intent was to rob him. That was the plan that they'd have. I'm sorry. Okay, Rebecca. The intent was to rob him, and that was the plan that they devised prior to going out and seeking someone to rob. The totality of the actions, where they struck him and then caused him to fall on the roadway, makes it a capital murder.
Do we know if they've confessed? Can you tell us if they've confessed, or what have they said about their involvement in the crime?
We've interviewed several witnesses, or many that we believe in that group. There are those amongst them that have acknowledged their participation.
Will there be more arrests?
It's possible we have more arrests. Right now we feel that the 3 that we have in custody are most likely are actors.
And how did you come about them? Did their parents turn them in? Did they turn themselves in? What happened? What was the process?
There was some information that was brought forward to us that led to additional information that got all 6 to 8 of them interviewed.
So these are all juveniles?
They are all juveniles, yes.
Even the ones that you're not?
And I'm sorry, LP, I meant to mention a date range. We're talking a date range from 10 years old to 14 that were part of this group. I failed to mention that earlier.
10 to 14?
10 to 14.
And what if they said,
I won't be able to go into that, okay? And I know you'll respect that. And, you know, the juvenile, with the adult system, it's a little bit different, and I have to be a little bit more limiting in the juvenile system.
How unusual is it to have somebody as young as 10 years old to be a part of something so heinous, so violent?
It's senseless. And you think about the conduct, you think about the forward thinking as they plan to carry out this act. Now, on the 10-year-old, I do want to point out the arrests are a 13-year-old and 2 14-year-olds. We did not arrest the 10-year-old. He was just there. Okay?
So you're not still looking for him?
No, ma'am.
You're not looking for anyone except the car drivers, right?
That's the part where we need the assistance right now. We need the assistance in identifying the vehicle involved and anybody that stopped to help render aid. That's where we need our help.
How did this group of children know each other? Did they all live in that area?
I'm not sure. It's presumptive that they live in there. I do know they gathered at the Prince Hall Apartments before they did the act.
And it seems like they were just looking for something to do, and they just picked him out of at random.
Their intent was to commit a robbery.
had you arrested anybody else prior to this for assault in this case?
Not that I'm aware of that's related.
So you said 6 to 8.
Yes, ma'am. The total number of individuals that went out to the street is conflicting. When I say followed, it is conflicting. We have done that many interviews.
So 10-year-old was there, you have 2 14-year-olds, 1 13-year-old,
Arrested.
and so you're looking for...
I'm not looking for anybody else involved in the actual offense where they attacked Mr. Morris. What I'm looking for assistance on is those that stopped to help Mr. Morris after he was struck by the car, and I'm looking for the car.
How do you know that people stopped to help him if you don't know who those people are?
That was developed during the investigation.
What about surveillance video?
That's just part of everything that we do.
Well, is there something that can be released?
I've given you everything I've got.
And the 10-year-old not arrested, why?
Because he wasn't involved in the crime.
But he was there.
He was a witness to the crime, yes.
He was acting in concert, he was acting as part of a group. So
No,
he
ma'am.
would be-
No, ma'am. I've arrested 3 folks. Those 3 individuals are responsible for the actions that led to Mr. Morris being in the street.
So they're all charged under juvenile law, right? I mean, I've not been
It's-
aware of anyone can be tried as an adult who's 13,
Yeah.
although they can't try.
You know, I'm sorry, LP. I'd have to get myself up to speed on that. It is capital murder. It is in the juvenile information system, and we have 3 arrests. Yeah. Thanks, guys.